the Medicare Cafe. You're joined by your host. My name is Olivia Richardson, and talking about marketing to T65ers. We have a lot of conversation about the T65 market for obvious reasons. People want those individuals. They typically will have more money to spend. They're healthier, and a lot of people adopt to the mindset of like, if I can get somebody when they're turning 65 to work with me, I'll have them for the rest of that person's life. So obviously they're younger, they're going to live longer, they're going to give premium longer, you're going to have them on the books longer. It all makes sense, but I think most notably, they're an easy demographic not to market to, but to sell to, because they're really hungry for information. They're turning 65 is like super scary to a lot of people. Nobody has any idea what it means, but they know it's a big deal. You know what I mean? It's kind of, they are really hungry for information about it. So they're people who are easy to sell to because they're really looking for an expert to kind of guide them through this journey. And let's not forget, the majority of them aren't going through underwriting because they're in their initial election period or things like that. So it's obviously why the T65 market is highly sought after, but it is, in my opinion, the most difficult market to get in front of. And we'll talk about that a little bit. It's one of the most highly saturated markets you will ever be. I was in an office with an agent and they were actually turning 65 themselves. And have you guys ever seen Bruce Almighty, where he opens the file cabinet and the file cabinet just keeps going and going and going and going? It was like dead on what that experience was. He opened up his file cabinet and pulled out all of this mail he's gotten because he was turning 65, and he wasn't 65 for another 12 months. So it's no wonder why it's really difficult to stand out in this market. So let's get started. First of all, in order to understand why and how and everything between the T65 market, I want to kind of investigate something that I learned called push versus pull marketing. Push versus pull marketing. Very different things. So push versus pull is essentially, how are you getting in front of that client? What is push marketing? Push marketing is like the desperate ex-girlfriend or the desperate ex-boyfriend that's like, let me love you. You're constantly, everybody knows what I'm talking about. The people that are constantly calling you, constantly texting you, showing up at your house randomly, uninvited, the people who are just constantly in your face. And maybe if you're lucky, the other person who that ex-boyfriend or girlfriend is courting just gives up and says, fine, I'll let you love me. Doesn't really happen that often, but it is something that I'm going to constantly be putting my message to you and pushing out my message to you to where you're going to give up and finally come talk to me. It is a way of building brand recognition and things like that, but it's more about like, it's the biggest example of that is going to be leads, purchasing leads. Very short-term success, very money driven. You're going to have higher acquisition costs with these types of leads, but it's, how do I go out and get one more client? How do I do one literal push to get one more person in front of me? Again, short-term games, but easy to track, easy to understand your return of investment, versus pull marketing, which is, I've heard about your brand. You didn't send me something specifically to learn more about you, but I know you, I hear about you. So whenever something comes up or I need service, I'm going to seek you out. I'm going to do my what's it called whenever investigation? That's not research. I'm going to do my research or investigation, and I'm going to seek you out and me come to you. So it's like sure, I'll help you out. Yes, I'm more than happy to be in service. Downside of pull marketing, it's really hard to figure out like what's working, because you'll very rarely have a client say, I saw your billboard, or I talked to my sister's neighbor's dog walker's cousin and they referred me to you, or I've seen you at different fairs. Really hard to determine what works with pull style of marketing. It typically is going to be cheaper, and it's all about pull style marketing. It's all about brand recognition and building a reputation. So we're going to kind of talk about why push marketing doesn't work for the turning 65ers. Pull marketing really works for the turning 65ers. So what doesn't work when it comes to push marketing is really any type of lead True lead, Medicare lead generation. I do not recommend doing any type of mailer to a turning 65er. I do not recommend any type of telephonic lead. I'm on the fence with internet leads. We'll talk about that here in a little bit, but do not purchase leads with the intent of turning 65ers. And I'll tell you why. I know I don't have $1 million budget. If you do, let's talk some more. Let's have a conversation what you're doing with your $1 million budget. But who does? United Healthcare, Humana, Medicare themselves. Your competition, call centers, they have the budget to be in front of these people constantly. Now, honestly, when it comes to the turning 65 market, if you're marketing to somebody within 3 months of them turning 65, 6 months of them turning 65, 9 months, you're way behind the ball. People actually start marketing in these big conglomerations like UHC, Mutual of Omaha, Aetna. These companies actually start marketing to those people when they're turning 64. United Healthcare, if that person's an AARP member, actually starts marketing to them when they turn 55. And unfortunately, first impressions make a huge impression on somebody. So if they're more likely to go to that person if they hear from them first. Again, whenever they reached out to turning 65ers and say, why did you go with the agent you went with or the company you went with? They said, well, I heard from them first. You're probably not going to be first to the gate with these turning 65ers, and they're not going to hear from you as often because, again, you don't have multi-million dollars worth of mailers to send out to that person for them to consistently see your message. So it doesn't work. Plus, if you look at somebody who is turning 65, like I mentioned, they get calls daily. They get mail daily of different types of lead cards, of different types of promotions and flyers. That market is so inundated, we don't have the ability to stand out in that market. You are one mailer out of hundreds they got that month. If you can't consistently market to them on a daily basis and become kind of that annoying spammer, then you're not going to stand out in that market. As far as they don't know you from Adam, you're pushing content onto them. If you are going to do a mailer with the turning 65 market, don't do a Medicare mailer. It will get lost in the shuffle. They will not pay attention to it. Same thing with telephonic leads. They get hundreds of calls a day. The baby boomer demographic are even less trusting than the demographic before them, so they're less likely to answer the phone and talk to anybody as well. So Sadie came on here and she said, my mother-in-law told me originally, I know her mother-in-law just turned 65. She said, my mother-in-law told me she was originally saving her mailers, but then she got way too many and threw them all away. This stuff is true. Exactly. Stay away from push marking for the turning 65ers. You will not be seen. You just won't. Unless you have $1 million to spend on it, you will not be seen. So what does work for the turning 65ers? It's all about that pull marketing. What can you do to build a name and reputation? And it's like kind of that long-term stuff, that hard to measure successful stuff. It's all about how do I build a name and a reputation to where people want to seek out me. Couple ways of doing that. Number one is networking. Obviously, be the expert that their experts refer to. One thing I would recommend is actually if you can become and network with like corporations or small companies and their HR representatives. I know my mom does insurance for her school, and I'm constantly getting emails and text messages from her because people are going to their HR representative and asking questions about Medicare because they're getting ready to retire. So who do? They go to their insurance person, typically their HR, and they don't have the answers. It's not something that they want to know. It's not something they need to know. So they need a referral partner to send those questions to. So networking is huge in this. Be the expert that other experts refer. Seminars. This demographic, I've already said it, is hungry for information because they are very uncomfortable with the unknown. They've been doing the same thing for the last, 50 years, been working for 50 years. Now they're transitioning into this new chapter of their life, and they're uncomfortable with the unknown. And access to care, their health is definitely unknown there. So they're really hungry for content. So they're the ones doing a ton of research. That research is online, but they're also the demographic that even though they do their most research, they're also the demographic that want to use a professional. They want somebody to validate their research and confirm their research. So seminars are a great way to do that. You put somebody in front of a room with a microphone, they become God. They become like they are the expert in that area, in that field. I'm maybe unpopular opinion. I'm not a fan of Medicare 101s. Medicare 101s do really help and do work for the turning 65ers, but like nobody's pumped to go to a Medicare 101 presentation. Nobody's like telling their friends. They're more like, oh yeah, I'm going to go do this. Like I have to go to this Medicare presentation. No one's pumped about doing it. Plus, Medicare 101 is only going to get those turning 65ers. So I would recommend doing seminars like top 10 things you didn't know about Medicare, or how to get the most out of your Medicare benefits, or how does Medicare work with diabetes. Doing things that are obviously geared towards Medicare beneficiaries, they're going to draw more people than the turning 65ers, and their people are going to be much more excited because they really don't know what to expect with that seminar, so they're more likely to invite people or have their decision maker loved ones go with them. Seminars are incredible. Seminars are a great pull style marketing. Social media, you have to have a Facebook page. Having a Facebook page makes you referable. It builds credibility. People can leave reviews on your Facebook page. It helps with social proof and that networking as well. So, and plus the baby boomers are the fastest growing demographic on Facebook. The younger generation's actually coming away from Facebook and going to like TikTok and Instagram. Facebook is actually growing in the population of 55 and older. So social media is huge where people are actually looking and doing a ton of this research. If you are going to do a type of purchased lead, again, stay away from mailers, stay away from telephonic, stay away from 90% of leads for the T65er. I can argue Facebook leads for the turning 65er, because the turning 65er is information hungry. They are hungry for knowledge, and they are on Facebook. They're the fastest growing demographic for Facebook. So I would say if you are going to purchase a lead for the T65 market, do Facebook leads. I think that's kind of the only style of push marketing that I could see work for the turning 65ers. So David asked a really great question. Facebook page, you mean an individual page, business page, or both? Keep them as separate as possible, because you can't control what other people put on your personal page. If you have some questionable friends like I do that like will see things like, Olivia, look at this, and I'm like, my mom's on here, stop it. But if so you do a business page, it allows you a lot more control over what that looks like, and it builds that credibility, and it's easier to find. Your business page on Facebook will pull on Google way before your personal page, way before your website. So make it a business page. We have a lot of really awesome training on how to build and how to maintain and how to grow your business with a business page on Facebook. But it's a necessity now. Not having a Facebook page is like not having business cards. It just doesn't make sense. Candy was asking, good morning, Candy. She asked, what's the name of the seminar you mentioned besides the Medicare and diabetes and the top 10 things you didn't know about Medicare? So Candy, we do have a ton of seminars about things like, they're all on our website. They're on under services. If you have a contract with senior marketing specialist, you have access to all of them. But we have a ton of them on there. Again, like top 10 things you didn't know about, or I think there's 5 things you didn't know about Medicare, top 10 things you should be expecting from your Medicare, how Medicare works when you're recovering at home, tons of other stuff on there. So check out our seminars. They're under our services on senior marketing specialist website, because again, Medicare 101s work, but it's so boring and no one cares and no one pays attention. And it's like, people like, I need to know that, but really you don't need to know that. And it's boring. So I'm not having a good experience, and I don't need to know 90% of what we're talking about. So like, I've worked with agents that have had great success doing Medicare 101s. Worked with agents that'll do them until they're blue in the face and never write business. So I guess it's all about your personality. If you can make a Medicare 101 entertaining, then I will shake your hand, because I don't know how to do that. Okay, so social media is a big one. General advertising, again, as silly as things as like a billboard, doing advertising if you have a TV or radio advertising, just general advertising, building your agency, because it's all about name recognition. If the first time somebody hears your name is them receiving a marketing piece for you, or the first time somebody hears your name is somebody saying, oh, I use this agent, you still have a lot of trust to overcome. Familiarity equals trust, and you have to have trust for sales to happen. A good sale does not happen without that trust. Familiarity builds, and that relationship faster than anything else. So the more places you can be seen, the faster that trust is built. So making sure, again, you have to make sure you're doing with your, what you can budget in. I see a lot of agents do advertising. If you have a storefront, putting your name all over your storefront, making sure that you're doing like other types of booths, being where the people are, doing sponsoring events, just anywhere you can get your name and logo to build that familiarity and to build that trust, the better you're going to be. Bernadette asks, what's a good Facebook advertisement? Bernadette, I want to answer that. Let's get to the end, because I can go into a rabbit hole about Facebook advertising, because I have very strong opinions on Facebook advertising. So I'm gonna go into rant mode, and I need to finish this first. And then last but not least, leading with anything other than Medicare. People who are turning 65 still may want, again, when they leave their group insurance, they're leaving all of that stuff. So leading in something like dental, vision, or hearing, leading in with final expense, leading in with cancer insurance, doing something that I think dental, vision, hearing is my favorite, because it's something that, like, do you have teeth? Do you have eyes? Do you have ears? Do you want to continue to be able to use your teeth, eyes, and ears? It's super easy to understand. They typically had that with their group insurance. Super low premium, no underwriting, requires very little actual trust to make that sale. So it's a great way to get your foot in the door. People are much more likely to respond to a dental, vision, and hearing mailer than they are a general Medicare mailer. So yes, Brian, absolutely. I can say with certainty, yes. Okay, so again, this is how you target the turning 65 market. This is how you start your pull campaign, how you get more people to seek you out and get more people to call your phone than you having to spend a ton of time and effort and resources on purchasing leads. T65ers will not respond to lead generation. They do respond to reputation and being known in your area. Now, if you really do want to do a boost in your marketing, if you're saying, I understand, Olivia, what you're talking about, but building these relationships, I just got my license. This is going to take me some time. You're right. If you want to have a boost in sales and you do want to invest into lead generating and actually purchasing leads, try the 68 through 74 market. They need less Medicare training. Most of them have been on Medicare for some time. Also, don't keep in mind that the average retirement age is actually coming from 66 to 67 right now. So when they're turning 65, they may not need help anyways. So you're hitting that retirement group. They need less Medicare training. They've been on Medicare for a while, so they kind of know what to expect from it. They're not targeted nearly as often. Nobody does a lead drop to 68 to 674. So they're much more likely to respond to it because they're not as numb to the content as a turning 65er. A lot of times these people are orphaned by their agents, especially those call centers, guys. It's crazy that most call centers don't have a retention plan. They spend a ton of money getting the client and then do nothing with them after they have that initial sale. So many times they've been orphaned by their agent, and it's really easy to say, oh, you need to be meeting with somebody on an annual basis. You haven't met with an agent in 3 years. Thank God I'm here to talk with you. And oftentimes have had life changes that may warrant a review. Maybe they've recently run into inheriting something. Maybe they've had a friend or loved one to get diagnosed with cancer, so that conversation's a really hot topic for them right now. Maybe they, again, maybe they've retired from their insurance and now need to have that conversation. They didn't retire at 62 or 65. So a lot of life changes can happen in that 68 to 74 market. If you're going to purchase leads, stay away from the T65ers, go in this market. I promise you will have so much more success. So just keeping that in mind. Again, push versus pull, really helpful to know the difference. Push marketing, 68 through 74, go with them. Pull style marketing, that's your sweet spot to get the beloved and coveted turning 65ers. So hopefully this answered some questions. Oh, Sadie, we're talking about internet things. She said the resurfacing of my podcast. We don't talk about the old podcast for sure. So any other questions, comments, concerns, threats, or promises going into how to get those beautiful turning 65ers? Because again, guys, keep in mind, baby boomers have like 74% have control of 74% of the nation's wealth. So like that's the client I want. I want to get a good old-fashioned healthy baby boomer and let me be their lifelong companion in their journey of healthcare. So test that out. But any other questions? I'm going to go back. If you guys do have questions, throw them in there, thoughts, comments. If you guys think I'm completely full of BS as well, let's have a conversation about that. Let's debate that, and I'll tell you why you're wrong. Because it's my show. No, I'm just kidding. Only kind of. Candy. Okay, no, who was it that asked about? Oh, Bernadette asked me about Facebook advertising. There is a difference between boosted posts. Okay, there are 3 types of content: Facebook posts, boosted post, Facebook leads. Your happy area, where I want you to just kind of do, everybody's seen Hitch, where he's like, this is where you live. This is where you live. Don't get out of this bubble. Do not move beyond, by yourself, posts and boosted posts. Those are incredible. If you're wanting some content for you to post on your Facebook page, SMS Agent Connect is a Facebook group that all SMS agents have access to. We post daily content for you to share that is Facebook appropriate, compliant, and is more likely to get you back and forth communication. What's that called? Engagement. If you're gonna boost a post, boosting a post, I don't know why I say that so weird. Boost. Maybe it's the commercials. You're gonna boost a post, making sure that you're boosting something that has to do and promotes your agency, but the human side of your agency. So boosting you volunteering somewhere, hosting an event, boosting, if you are gonna be putting on seminars, boosting those invites, things like that. Facebook leads. It's a double-edged sword, man. If you're going to do a Facebook lead, leave it to the experts. Do not go on this journey of purchasing Facebook leads on your own. You will spend a ton of money on learning the process, learning how Facebook Ad Manager works, learning what buzzwords work, learning what demographics to target. It is literally, it would be somebody's full-time job, and it is a full-time job to manage your leads through Facebook Ad Manager. So like, I just don't recommend it. I don't like it. Don't do it. We do use other sources for that, but again, like a Facebook lead isn't saying, my name's Olivia Richardson, I am the owner of Richardson Insurance Agency, you should come work with me. That's not how a Facebook lead works. A Facebook lead looks like a mailer, a telephonic. It's literally like, do you have questions on Medicare? Fill out this form. Do you want to learn how to get your dentures covered? Fill out this form. It does nothing to promote you, does nothing to build name recognition. It's truly like an actual lead that you purchase. And so just like I recommend, don't make your own mailers for prospecting, same thing. Do not build your own Facebook leads. You will waste a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of resources. I have a lot of people who have, because there's a ton of books and articles on there like how to do your own marketing campaign through Facebook. Yeah, you can absolutely do marketing campaigns and advertise other things, but just don't, leads are a whole nother animal. I can get into it even more so if you want to, but if you're gonna do actual leads, do not do them yourself. Brian asked, did Sadie Upgrady get a promotion? Absolutely. Sadie is now the team leader of training and education at Senior Marketing Specialist. So if you're watching any webinars, we have 3 more webinars this week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. NatGen, a training on ancillary products, and Medicare Center, and Sadie is on the majority of those. So Miss Sadie did get a promotion, and we all wish her and really want to congratulate her for that. Terry says, I know a lady who is an expert with Constant Contact and Facebook, and she will not do the manager. Exactly, Terry. So Constant Contact, if you're wanting to do like an email campaign, Constant Contact is great. MailChimp is not better because it's a better software, but great because MailChimp is free. So email campaigns are fantastic and they're wonderful and they're great. Even again, like Facebook leads are just a completely, it's not, Facebook leads is not advertising. Facebook leads are not marketing. It is literally like if you were to do a lead drop, it's the same thing, and it is confusing and it is frustrating. So exactly, Terry. I think we're saying the same thing, Terry. Get them out of your house. You don't do that yourself. Jay said, I did miss the beginning of this. Do we record the Medicare Cafe program? If yes, is the earliest can I be able to see this again from the recording? So we record every single episode and we put them on our Facebook page. If you go to YouTube, I'm saying two different things. We start over. We do record them. We put them two places. They first go on our YouTube page. So if you go to Senior Marketing Specialist on YouTube, then we actually have a Medicare Cafe playlist, and all recorded episodes of Medicare Cafe, as well as What's Brewing, is on there. So go there first. We also, if you are on our Facebook page, post all of our recordings on there as well. So we just give you all the places. Last but not least, if you are subscribed to the Medicare Cafe newsletter, then you also get a newsletter every Monday with the previous episode recording, and it lets you know what Tuesday's topic will be. So you have all the options, and it'll be there later on today. Anne said, I volunteered for a political campaign and did door-to-door literature drop. The forms I was given with information of each household, and it showed the age of the voters in the household. And so there's actually something that still does that. If you are familiar, if you have at least one contract with an integrity partner, you have some access to something called the T65 app. Now, it's called T65 because obviously people want to talk to the turning 65ers, but it'll show you if you go into an area, you can put on there and say who is turning 65 within a 5-mile radius of where I'm sitting right now. And it'll pull up and be like, Mary Jane, she is turning 65 on January 7th. Paul Rudd, he's turning 65 on February 1st. So we have that. You already have access to that. If you want access to that, go to our website, smsteam.net, and all you need to do is just register with your NPN once you find the T65 portion of it. And again, that is a program that Integrity has offered to all of their FMOs. Great stuff. So exactly. And what's really cool about those is if you are somebody that's still doing door to door or in the neighborhood, if you are somebody again that you have Senior Marketing Specialist as an upline, we have something called AMP, Agent Marketing Portfolio. Those include door hangers, business cards, letters, postcards that you can hand deliver, and things like that are great because it promotes your name, it promotes your headshot, promotes your agency, your logo, and it allows you to kind of give something tangible to that person who you're seeing door face to face at a door. So great stuff. All right, guys, make sure you like us on Facebook to guys kind of stay up to date with what's going on, what's going on in their industry, what's going on like that. Make sure you're staying tuned and watching for What's Brewing. Again, What's Brewing, the Medicare Cafes are longer. We like to talk about marketing, sales, ideas, things like that. The What's Brewing are very technical knowledge and things to kind of help you build your knowledge about Medicare in general. So stay tuned for that. Lots of cool stuff coming there. And the other, Pamela says, great info as usual. Thank you, Pamela. Anne says, use it for networking. Our neighborhood gets together a lot and just want to make a point to talk to the T65ers at the socials. Absolutely. But that's pull marketing. You're not getting in front of them and saying, look at this mailer, look at this. You're just building your name recognition and building your relationship. That's exactly, Anne, what pull marketing is making them come to you because of your name, because of your relationship, because of your brand recognition. Any other questions or comments, guys? Again, appreciate you all. Like our Facebook page to continue to see. I promise you I'm saying words. Try again. Like our Facebook page to continue seeing content from us. Really excited. And again, we have a lot up our sleeve. So stay tuned, guys. We appreciate you all hanging out with us. Awesome. So until next time, have fun, make money, and give impeccable service. Thanks, guys.